My wife 40F cheated and I 45M have trouble leaving. 6 years ago, I discovered that my wife 40F was unfaithful, and it deeply affected me 45M. Despite the betrayal, I chose to stay for the sake of our child, who is still very young. We've tried everything from couples counseling to therapy, hoping to rekindle what was lost, but nothing has worked. Now, she feels more like a roommate and a good mother to our kids rather than a romantic partner. I see her as a friend, rather than the woman I once loved. We have been together for close to 18 years. I want to leave the relationship, but I wish for our son to graduate first, to minimize any impact on him. Attempts to talk to her about my feelings are often brushed aside, leaving me frustrated. Last year, I had resolved to leave but faced a career setback and the loss of my best friend, which delayed things further. It seems that whenever I muster the courage to go, life throws something else in my path, and I end up hesitating. My biggest concern is how to leave without negatively affecting my child. I want to make this transition as smooth and as minimally disruptive as possible for him. How can I achieve this while ensuring both his well-being and my own peace of mind? Too long did not read. My wife 40F cheated and I 45M want to leave but can't. Mate, there is never a perfect time to do it. Haven't you suffered enough? Do it now. Your child will be fine. Figure a good co-parenting plan and stick to it. You deserve some happiness. Stop torturing yourself. As a child of divorced parents, just leave now. You're not doing anyone any favors by staying in a loveless marriage. You're setting a bad example for your son because your relationship problems will shine through. He'll grow up thinking a marriage should be loveless, have no romance, have no intimacy, etc. Also, if you go through with this now, he'll have more time to adjust and process before he reaches peak dating age. But also, you're not doing yourself or your wife any favors. None of you are as happy as you could be. You're all living a half-life. Just move on. There's 8 billion people, babe. It's okay if it doesn't work out with one person. Especially if that one person disrespects you on the ultimate level. You're hurting your son more by forcing him to live in that type of household. Your son thinks that's normal and how relationships should be. I divorced with kids. My ex and I co-parent and even celebrate holidays together. It is entirely possible to have a happy child and to be happy yourself. If this was 20 years down the line and your child was in a similar situation, what would you recommend? You should want to show your kid that sometimes prioritizing yourself is what most important, and if people don't appreciate you or betray you, that leaving is okay. You can still be a great parent and co-parenting isn't ideal. But as they get older they will pick up on the situation and not see what a real relationship should be. Good luck. Staying in a bad relationship will hurt your child. He needs to see that it's okay to leave an unhealthy relationship. Would you want him staying with a woman who cheated on him and made him miserable? Chances are you wouldn't, so you shouldn't expect that of yourself. Ending a long relationship is never easy. The timing never seems to be right. But it is what's best for all involved. Wife's lying past haunts me. 31M and 30F. I am 31M, and have been married to my wife, 30F, for a little over 3 years. However, we've been together a little longer than that since our daughter is 4 years old, and we now have a 2-year-old son. Our relationship was very unorthodox. Started off as a fling, to regular hookups, then got serious, and she ended up getting pregnant within that month of becoming serious. I did what I believed was right and married her. We've since created this happy family image, however, have underlying issues. I'd test a lot of it to us barely known each other before diving into this incredibly serious life together. I found something out a year and a half ago that continues to bother me. Back when we were having our hookups into dating, she had this longtime friend whom I knew from the past as well. It was portrayed as only a friendship. I caught wind of something in the past, but she never admitted to anything. Long story short, I later find out 1.5 years into our marriage that they had a sexual relationship while I was in the picture as well. That ruined me. I guess had I known that, I would not have married her or taken our lives this far. She claims it was only a one-time thing, but I have discovered proof that says this was an ongoing thing. We had a huge fight about it, near divorce over it, and have since put it in the past. However, she has never admitted to it being more than a one-time thing. I don't know why it bothers me so much. Maybe the betrayal. Maybe the long-term lying. Maybe the fact that if I had that bit of knowledge I would not have decided to take things so seriously with her. To this day, it haunts me when I'm reminded of it and I am unable to let it go. How does one put this behind them once and for good? However, she has never admitted to it being more than a one-time thing. So she's still lying. Maybe that's why you can't let it go. Until she admits fully to what she did and stops lying, there's no reconciliation. As they say, if you're trying to get out of a hole, first put down the shovel. First, paternity test. Second, if you really want to work through this, couples therapy and individual therapy for you. But how do you really feel about her? By your story, it looks like that you married her cause she got pregnant. Basically nothing changed, unless you say that if you would have known you would have been more careful and not to make her pregnant. I don't care the timeliness. Get that paternity test. Was she still sleeping with this person even after you became exclusive? The correct answer is don't marry someone you barely know. That was a mistake made 3 years ago. That's advice for those in this sub. For you, she's actively lying about something that happened. That's not good. The question is, what else is she lying about? Are there other parts of her past or current life she's hiding or lied about? 31 female husband 31 male made a baby within 2 months of separation. I want him to be with her. I separated from my husband in 2023 after his good friend sent me a conversation between my husband and his friend's wife talking about sexual tension between them. We've been married 10 years this year but together for 16. This wasn't the first time I've tried to leave him, nor is it the first time he sought out other women online. We have 2 kids together. I separated from him this last time and filed for divorce. The first 3 months he refused to sign the divorce papers and would send me lengthy love letters over text and my work email. I got into a situationship during the separation. He got into a fairly serious relationship. When he got into the relationship he made a point to tell me that he was fucking a tatted up stripper. She was a stripper and drug addict for quite some time. I know this because recently her and I got in contact with each other and she told me about it. They met on Tinder. He's an alcoholic and told me at the time they had met at AA. He had convinced her that I was psycho and so she refused to meet me or have any contact with me, even if it was to discuss childcare or my children. The first time they broke up he told me she wanted to have kids of her own and he wanted a vasectomy. Then they got back together. I told him he was going to wind up getting her pregnant. He denied. He's never wanted to have kids. He wanted me to abort the first one we had together. Our second child was planned but we both agreed to get fixed once she was born. I followed through with it but he did not, always coming up with excuses as to why he kept missing the vasectomy appointments. So he's with this girl. I'm only bothered by the fact that she wanted to be a stepmom but not meet me, the real mom. I didn't give his fuck that they were together. I was glad he found someone. I just wanted to make sure nothing weird was going on between her and my kids and that she could contact me if anything happened to them. Anyways, fast forward a year and some months, she moved away from him to a different state and had his child last summer. I moved out of state last spring as well with our 2 kids. Our oldest was devastated through the whole separation. She had a strong bond with her dad. A lot happened. I thought he was going to do something self-destructive and wind up dead. My kids not having a present parent is one thing, having a dead one is completely different. So I told him that I was down to work things out with him if he moved to be with our kids and I. He did. He's sober now and is encouraging me to be a stay-at-home mom so he can provide. I have always been the breadwinner. Things were great at first, almost like they were at the beginning of our relationship. Great connection, great sex, I looked forward to everything. Now it's been a few months. He's fighting to get a genetic test done before he pays her child support. She got pregnant within 1.5 months of them being on again off again and he's not on the birth cert. I find myself missing the feeling of being at peace when I was alone with my kids. I also find myself wishing he would rekindle things with his second baby mama and leave me alone. With the child support and whatever other expenses that come from his other child I am going to have to go back to working, which is fine by honestly I just want to be alone. She knows that we're continuing our marriage so the odds of her being cool with him being a part of her and the baby's life are slim to none. He has also said he wants nothing to do with that lady and will sign over his rights if the child is his. I've even suggested we move to her state so he can be closer to the child and have some kind of partial custody. He heavily disagrees with that suggestion. He's my best friend, we've been together since sophomore year of high school. He took my virginity for God's sake. I don't want to leave him or kick him out again and traumatize my oldest child any more than they were from the initial separation. They love their dad so much and are so happy the family is back together again. I won't ever be able to trust him or his intentions and I flat out just want to be alone. My situationship that I had was physically abusive towards me. The whole ordeal in past 2 years has made me not want to be with anyone the rest of my life, to be honest. But my kids are so happy I don't want to fuck it up for them. If we didn't have kids I would be in a different country living my dream. I was moving to Thailand when I found out I was pregnant with my first child. He hooked up with a few more chicks over the separation, and few of which have messaged me saying all the nasty stuff he would say about me. Most of what he was saying to them wasn't even true. His second baby mama reached out to me and we talked about their relationship and I told her how he was always trying to get me to take him back while he was with her. The whole 2.5 months they were together on and off. She said he has convinced her that I am psycho and she was being a pick-me, not wanting anything to do with me. He talked so much shit about me. I was just trying to figure out how to live my life independently and make sure my bills were paid and kids were taken care of properly. I've thought about just toughing it out until my youngest moves out and just hope someone else catches his eye so he leaves on his own accord. How does one mend a marriage when so much disrespect and betrayal has been done by one partner? How can I lead a happy life when I just want to live alone but don't want to fuck my kids up? Edit. I read all of the comments and will be chewing on what advice has been given. I appreciate any and all advice, even the harsher ones. I will be seeking out a therapist for both my daughter and I and go from there. I've thought about deleting this post, but I'm keeping it up just in case someone in a similar situation comes across it. Girl fucking why? You're only 31 years old, why do you want to be with an alcoholic who fucks drug addict strippers and is a baby dad to one? Why do you want to do that to yourself? Jesus Christ, just leave this man. I think staying with him would do more damage to your kids. They would see the way he talks to you and treats you, and that's not okay. Your kids deserve better and you deserve better. I hope you realized that while typing this out. Stop trying to mend this garbage relationship. Respect yourself. He took my virginity for God's sake. No offense, but this is sorta meaningless on the grand scheme of things. Why would you want to stay with this man? Seriously, leave him and be happy being single. You are also only 31, that's so young to find a guy who actually treats you right. How can I 21F get my friend 23F to accept my relationship with my sister's ex-boyfriend? So my 21F sister 24F and her ex-boyfriend 22M broke up 3 years ago after dating for 5 years. They remained friends after the breakup and he comes over a lot as he became very close with our whole family. My sister has since moved on and is engaged and has a 1-year-old daughter. I have not been in a relationship since high school and my family is always trying to set me up with people. And my sister's ex has been dating around and trying to find somebody. Me and him have got really close the last few years. And my family has always encouraged us to get together. Even my sister would pressure us into dating by saying things like that would be so cute together and that she thinks we're soulmates. We just recently realized that we do have feelings for each other, but we were unsure if we should date. I asked my sister and she said that she's been waiting for us to get together and that we have her blessing to date. We have been together for about 2 months now and the relationship has been going great. Everyone approves of us being together except for me and my sister's mutual friend. She told me that I am betraying my sister and she thinks that my sister is lying about it being okay. She has called me a horrible person for this and said that if I don't end it she is going to cut me off. I am the most in love I have ever been and my sister is fine with it. So how can I get her to accept my relationship? Is it possible your friend has feelings for your boyfriend? This seems like a massive overreaction from her part. Unfortunately, you can't force her to accept your relationship. You just need to accept that some people will choose to view you one way and it's not worth it to try and change their mind. Hashtag I don't care if my sister gives the blessing. I would never, ever, in 1 million years, date someone my sister dated, someone that she was intimate with. That's just freaking gross. You can't force her to accept this. Let her make her own decision about whether she wants to cut you off or not. She's currently using that as a tactic to manipulate you. Call her bluff and let her become distant. Don't go to her for emotional support if things go poorly. It's alright to take your sister at her word, but I understand where your friend is coming from. I'd be uncomfortable dating someone my sister was with for 5 years, but everyone here can make their own decisions and your family is ultimately encouraging this. I think it's weird he was in a relationship with your sister for 5 years. I think the friend would find it a massive betrayal and would never give the green light, so she thinks everyone would feel the same. I think she's trying to stick up for your sister and the level of betrayal this is. I agree with her, but I would just distance myself from the friendship and let you live your life. You are the asshole. Dating your sister's ex? Of course she said it was okay, but not really. You're with a man your sister had intimate relations with. How is that not weird? Bringing her ex back in your lives, family mix would be awkward, not to mention her to be husband. I'm wondering if he knows? Like he wants to be around some guy she slept with for 5 years. But you do you and see how that works out. It's very strange to date a sibling's ex, but your sister is fine with it, so it doesn't really matter. Your friend can keep her opinions to herself, who cares what she thinks. Woman shrugging medium skin tone. If your relationship causes her to stop the friendship, then she wasn't a real friend to begin with.